Hello, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time when we can relax and craft together. And I work on projects from beginning to end typically, so you can be with me through the whole process, so you can actually work with me. So I'm going through the Splendid Sampler to quilt along right now, so you can find out more information at thesplendidsampler.com. I'm going to work on the catnap block a little bit more tonight. So we did a little bit, we finished this part of the embroidery and we did this part last night. We had some Facebook shenanigans last night, so hopefully it works a little bit better tonight. I don't know if it will or not. Facebook in general, you guys let me know. It has been kind of weird on my end. Sometimes it'll work on the phone fine, but just not be working at all on the computer. I don't know. It's being weird. It was weird last night, so hopefully it is good to go tonight. Let's get stitching. We'll work on this a little bit more. And thanks for joining me, everyone. All right. Back to some stitching. All right, so last night, like I said, we finished the pink stitching around this little flower guy. And we also finished up these cute little pluses on that part. That was pretty fun. We just did in one direction, so we did like all the horizontals, and then we came back and did all the verticals. I was thinking I'd love to do a quilt, like quilt the whole entire quilt like this. I think that would be just so much fun. And then the back would be just like kind of bigger pluses. I like it. Okay, next up, I would like to stitch these lines in. That should go pretty quick. It's just another running stitch, which is just in and out and in and out. Oh, you feel like you're being rude, not saying goodnight when Facebook stops. Well, I feel like that too. Like, I don't know when it stops or not, like when you guys are still there or not. It's kind of a bummer. But yeah, so hopefully it keeps working tonight, you guys. All right, so I don't have to actually do any stitching around here. I'll do that once I fuse this on. So it looks like I stitch all the way up, but I don't. I'm gonna just stitch to this line. We'll try and come back and stitch along here and then skip all this. So we're just going to stitch in this dotted line area. So I'm going to have to keep this near to kind of use as a guide. I'll just have it down next to me here. Okay, let's see. Oh, just because if you guys haven't seen this yet, I'll show you where these little fabric guys go. This one goes there. Got a big one down here, and there we go. So that's why I don't need the running stitch yet, because we'll do a blanket stitch around here once I have these fused. And I'm waiting to have these fused till the bulk of the embroidery is done, just because we'll be handling this a lot for the embroidery. And this is raw edge applique, so the more we handle this, the rawer the edges will get. And to preserve those edges at least a little bit, we're going to do all the embroidery first. So, all right, let's do that stitching. I'm going to use this light gray for the background, just because I want it to be kind of super subtle. I want it to be there, but subtle. Ooh, this is a messy pile of skein here. Here's an end. All this thread is from my little scrap bin of thread, so I never know quite what I'm going to get out of it. All right, so let's split this into 2 threads. We're using 2 threads this time. So I'm going to grab 1 thread to start out and just pull it out. Let the rest release. I can just run my hand through it to just finish getting it back to normal. Then I'm going to snag another piece out of there. Just pinch right there. All right, there's my 2 pieces. I can set this to the side for now. I'll probably need some more, I'm thinking. All right. Put the 2 strands back together. And you know what? I'm not even sitting down yet. There we go. All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to start I think I'm going to start down here just because I can weave in the beginning of this thread in the back of these stitches that are already here. Could also start here. I suppose it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's grab my needle. I do the pinch method for threading the needle. This needle has a pretty big eye on it, but I always like pinching the tips of the thread, and then as I unpinch right when I see those tips, I put the eye of the needle on top, and that'll get the thread through. All right, I said down here, yeah. Man, I'm getting picky already. Where do I want? Yeah, I am just gonna start. You know what? I'm gonna start up in this corner. Gosh, I'm indecisive there today. Huh. It's funny. All right, so I'm trying to just weave in the backs of as many threads as I can get here. Getting a little messy, but that's okay. I don't really have any nice big stitches to weave in the ends. All right, we're just gonna leave that. There we go. Pull that fuzzle through. All right. Yeah, up in the right corner. I'm gonna start with this little bit here, and then I'll backtrack and then start getting it into this quadrant. So I guess I'll start right here. Whoa, got my hand caught in the floss there. All right, so I'm just bringing the needle to the front. There we go. And now I can do my in and outs for the running stitch. Oh, thanks, Irene. I know, it's funny. It feels like we haven't embroidered in a while, doesn't it? I know, I want to still embroider. I still, I keep saying this, but I still want to do that quilt, or that, I'm just running through the backs of these stitches just to get back down to the corner here. But I want to do that book cover, sketchbook cover with the llama on it yet, the llama embroidery. And I've been stuck in the middle of a kind of unexpected project that I'll share with you guys a little bit soon. So I'm so waylaid on that project. So I was hoping to embroider for that. But this is fun too. All right, I think we're gonna just skip right underneath these legs and come back up on the other side. I'll pull that through first. Yeah, it's been a few crazy weeks, Leslie. But you know what? Well, that kind of brings us up. So you guys, I am not gonna be here for the rest of the week on these Facebook Lives because it's Thanksgiving, and I'll be headed to be with family for a little. So this is it for a little while. But yeah, I'm hoping that it's a nice little break, and I'll come back and all my stuff will just be done while I'm gone. How would that be? The magic elves will finish everything for me. Oh, it's looking cute. So I just wanted something super subtle, and I think I'm getting it. This is going to be just nice and pale. I mean, once we get rid of all this blue, I think it'll be really, better. Bonnie, we did not get the painting yet. It's still at the school, presumably, but we haven't been able to get a hold of them yet. So we need to get our little painting, or not little painting, I should say. All right, I'm just kind of weaving in the ends again. I want to kind of jump. I want to get down to the bottom here so I can go straight up here. I think that's kind of our last little bit, and then I might jump up here to the next section. But I don't want a big leap. Like I didn't want to jump from here to here on the back of this piece just because we call them toe catchers. I don't want to get caught on anything. So instead of doing that, I'm just weaving it in the backs of some stitches to get down to the bottom. Okay. So let's start right here. So something to think about while you're doing this is remember that we're gonna trim this down so we have it 6.5 inches, and I think my guess is that's what why my lines stop right here. But just remember we're gonna do that, so you don't want to stitch all the way to the bottom, because once we trim this, then you'll have cut off some of your thread, and it might start to unravel. So just leave enough of a gap there. All right, so I'm going up to here. We'll see how much thread I have left, but then I might leap up to here. Let's see. Or I might leap up to here. I think we can get one little stitch there. But this is where this will go. So I can just jump up there. I'll have a toe catcher on the back, but that's okay. I might just go kind of down and around and then stitch in the backs of the stitches with a new piece of thread. I don't know, I always kind of like to have a game plan for the direction I'm headed. So I have like the least amount of jumps and, you know, wasting the least amount of thread sort of thing. Like a road map. I like kind of planning the trip of where I'm stitching beforehand, but sometimes it just doesn't end up being pretty and you have to backtrack. All right, so I got a lot on the needle there, so I'm gonna pull that through. And I'm trying not to like pull too hard because I don't want it to start like gathering or anything. Ooh, green bean casserole from scratch. That sounds yummy. I think my mom started stuffing already. Yum, it's the bestest. I can't wait to have that. Yeah, that's true, Linda. The batting and the backing will catch any of those toe catchers, like those big loops on the back. But I don't know. It'll also help me while I'm stitching to not accidentally grab onto it. So I like just having the neat little back with no toe catchers. All right, I'm going to go up to this point and then add this little stitch in, I think. I really like the cranberry sauce as well. Ooh, homemade noodles. Linda, that sounds amazing. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. I'm kind of making my own little hoop with my hands. Like I have it's stretched in between this space here. So all this might be floppy, but right here, it's pretty stiff. All right, this last little stitch here. All right, now I'm gonna, do I have enough thread? Yeah, I'm gonna jump up to here. Let's see, what would the best way to do this be? I'm trying to map it out again. I could either go up here or I could just, yeah, I'll go up there first. So now I'm making a toe catcher. Again, I'm not going to get too close to the edge here because I don't want to accidentally cut this off later. There's a little gap instead, and that's fine. Do one more. quick, just doing these running stitches like this. All right, so now I'm going to weave in the back again and get to here, and then we'll work our way this way. Oh, let's pull this tight though. Look, that's a toe catcher right there. There we go. Now it's flat. I don't want it to bunch, but it's laying a little bit better. Pulling it a little too much, maybe. A little bit of thread left. Okay, I'm going to, maybe I'll go to here and then try and get this little straight line here. Ooh, I'm not sure I'll have enough thread for that. I might. I need enough thread to weave in the end as well. Hold on. Oh, I pulled it out, but I think I'm just going to go all the way straight across. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do instead. Then it'll look more like a line if I don't stop in the middle of the line. Oh, that's a good point, Leslie. The free motion quilting for this square might be tricky. Huh. Yeah, how should we tackle that? I mean, we can just, you know, if we want, we can stitch over all of our embroidery, but we put work into all this embroidery. That's kind of the star of this block. It'd be weird to quilt all over it, but I don't know. It'd also be cute to somehow call out this kitty, like quilt a lot here. I don't know quite how we do that. Oh, we could just, we could do that quilting where we kind of sneak our way into the next square. So we could do like a bunch of, or like point to point. Oh, or that orange peel where we just like do the little bloops at the corners. Because then we can kind of jump over the embroidery here. And then when we get to the kitty, we can still frame him, which would be pretty cool because he'd be like this poofy kitty around, you know, all this flat quilted stuff. I think that would work. Yeah, it's finicky though. I think we'd have to just pay real close attention and not, I don't know. Maybe it'll be easy. I don't know. Something we'll definitely have to think about beforehand, though. Yep, it's enough of a plan, Leslie, that it'll get us started, and then we can figure out what we're doing along the way. All right, I think that's that. I'm going to weave in the ends now. I could probably go a little longer, but I'm not like far enough, I don't think. I am liking this gray though. I think it's just delicate and pretty. I think I'll weave into the end of this pink that's already here. The other way one more time. Oh man, I've been doing the type of work lately that I can have just like Netflix on the back as just kind of noise, which is kind of funny because sometimes I look up or like John will want to rewatch part of it with me and I'll look up and realize that I've seen the episode, but I haven't actually seen any of it. I'm like, oh, that's what they were doing then, because I'm just kind of half listening to it. But I have gotten through the entire series, except for the most current one that's on normal TV, of Grey's Anatomy. That's 14 seasons, and I'm through this past season, the one that's on Netflix of The Great British Baking Show, which I love, and I just finished the new House of Cards too. So I need a new binge show. I've been going through them a lot lately, very quickly. I want something just chill, like something that's familiar that I like. I previously seen Parks and Rec again, so I don't want to see that again. I've rewatched Scrubs within the past few years, so I don't want to see Scrubs again. But I just need something easy and chill, I think. See, I'm not as big on Christmas movies. I'm actually not as big on movies, period, right now. I like the character. I like the storylines that just extend forever and ever. Oh, that Sabrina was good. That's been popping up on my Netflix. That new Sabrina with the daughter from Mad Men. I don't know if I liked her on Mad Men. That's my only thing with that. But, you know, it's a different character, and I'm sure the actress is just fine. I'll check that out. Downton Abbey, I partially watched that, but only as I could. Ooh, Supernatural. See, that's something that I feel like I could get into. One of those shows that's got 1 million seasons and that it can just be on. That's just like a teenage drama. Maybe that's the way to go. All right, we're gonna go down here, and then we'll weave in the back, and then I think all we gotta go down here and get some of these cross babies. But then that's it, and we can move on to the kitty cat. All right, Supernatural is great. That's good. That might be just the ticket. Some sort of like that. Is that like Vampire Diaries? Like in the sense, is it like some teen drama with like 14 seasons? That sounds about just what I need. Something that'll last forever and be just entertaining me enough that I can know everything that's going on without watching it. Like all those like teen shows. They're just the worst. They're the worst, but I love them. And maybe it's time I will, after all these other shows. Yeah, just finished House of Cards. I need some chill, silly, teeny bopper show. When did you say we'd be back on Facebook? Suzanne, I will be back on Monday. So I'll probably, we're headed out tomorrow and I'll be out, yeah. Yep, Monday. We sometimes listen to audiobooks on road trips. I actually used to listen to audiobooks all the time, but I just, maybe I don't know, that'd be a good idea. I could start doing that again too. We don't on road trips so much, but we do sometimes put a bunch of podcasts on. I'm gonna go down here. It goes in phases. Sometimes I'll, you know, I think I know what it is. Like with I'm like, I've been thinking, why am I not listening to more audiobooks? And then instead am I watching all this like TV that I don't really have to watch? And I think the reason is like, it's specifically TV that I don't have to pay all that close attention to. And I think with an audiobook, I can't just pause and totally pick up right where I left off, like mid-sentence, without, you know, having to think a little bit more than I'd like. But like with these just silly shows where you know all the characters already, and you know, or I've actually seen every episode back when they originally aired, sort of thing. With those, I can pause mid anything and let it sit for a few seconds or a few hours and jump right back in. And maybe I'm just not feeling that with audiobooks right now. I don't know. But I don't know. I haven't done it for a while. Oh, the turkey lacer. So yeah, so I'll show you guys that again. Because now's the time of year to make one. I actually didn't make this. I'll show you. It's my stiletto sewing tool, but it's actually just a turkey lacer. So if you imagine it without all the beads on it, it is just, you know, a pointy metal turkey lacer. And with the beads on, and the beads are glued in place, it becomes like a little handle, and I can, you know, use it to guide my fabric through the machine. But yeah, turkey lacer. So those you can just get at the grocery store this time of year. Oh, Gretchen, that would be amazing. I saw it on Facebook. That would be so amazing. I'll direct message you. I would love, love, love to see it. All right, I'm weaving in the backs here. See it for realsies. All right. Now what? I think just here and, oh, I did this already. So here and here. And then I'll need the gray later once once I need a blanket stitch around here. Oh yeah, it'll totally live with Zeb. Little Zeb and Phil. Did we ever name the pooping unicorn? I think we did. What was his name? Oh, I have to think about it. Hopefully when we get back, we'll be able to get this painting though. Then I'll take a picture and show you guys. Or if it's just sitting in our living room for a while because it's too big, I'll turn the camera so you guys can see it. All right, and then I just got to go off this little bit. So we'll come up, and I'm going to pull it straight before I change direction. There we go. And this way, a couple stitches. I haven't watched Parenthood. My parents watched it, and when we were at home, like back when it was, you know, live, not live, but, you know, on TV, I'd catch like a little bit of it here and there. That might be a bit dramatic. That looks like that might be just a hair too over the top for me right now. I like easy peasy right now. Easy peasy or old friends like Grey's Anatomy. That's just, you know, feel like I've seen all those before, or like Parks and Rec. Just they're old friends. Really need to pay attention at all, but I can still laugh every once in a while. All right, I think we're good right there. I'm going to take this out. Little skizzers. All right, let's see what we got going on here. It's still lying pretty flat, which is good. We got a huge wrinkle in this, so I hope that comes out. It'll come out when we wash this at least. Okay, let's see what is next. How are we doing in time here? Okay, we seem to be fine. So I think the kitty cat is next. So that we were going to use this kind of golden brown thread, and this looks like it's already split into 3. Let's grab this piece. Okay, that looks good to start out with. So I think for the kitty, yes, the kitty is 1 strand of floss. So all this other stuff has been 2 strands of floss, but the kitty is 1. And I believe that's because Nicole used a stem stitch on here. In a stem stitch, it has like 2 threads that are next to each other, and I'll show you'll get it from the stitch. But because of the stitch, those 2 threads next to each other, it gives the impression of like this 2-stranded thread that we did up there. So that would be my assumption. Let's see, where should we start? I kind of want to start somewhere where I can weave in the end. We could start here. And typically I also like to start in places that are the most underneath layers. So so that, like for here, for example, this is like the kitty's arm is underneath the neck right here. So I want to do the arm underneath first, because then when I stitch the neck, the stitches will lie over this part where where the arm meets the face. So when I can, I try and do that. And I think this might be a good place to start because I can weave into the backs of the stitches here. And then we'll start with this just like little extra stitch here. It's funny, the tracing of this looks a little different than her photo, or the image of it. Like there's a couple things here just that are a little different. Like she has this little bloop up there, and it looks like the tail covers it here, and the ear here stops kind of right at the dotted line there, and on ours it goes over a little bit. So a few little differences, but that's not really anything. It's just noticed. So I'm gonna weave in the backs here, and let's just get started. Start down here. Oop, get rid of this red caught to me. I think all the turkey lacers are longer or something. I think a longer one would be pretty good for these stilettos as well. All right. Wove that in enough, I think. Actually, let's go one more up here. Okay, so I'm just going to put one little stitch in here. It's kind of a little part of the back leg there. All right, so stem stitch I always have to think a little bit about. We're going to start at the bottom here. Oh wait, no. We'll start like a little back stitch. Hold on, I gotta remember how to do this now. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm just used to doing it this way. That's why it looked silly. Okay, so I'm gonna start here. I like going left to right with my stem stitch. So I'm going to, since it's an outward curve, I'm going to do the stem stitch with my thread going up. So I'm gonna go about a stitch length away and go on the line, and then I'm gonna come up kind of in the middle of the line there, and pull through. That'll be our first stitch. So you know, this is where we're handling the fabric a lot, and that's why we didn't want to fuse those other ones on. So I'm gonna put it up again. It's almost like 2 stitches away, really. We're going to come kind of just right next to this stitch that we just came back there. I don't think we have a Kroger's either. And we'll just kind of keep cruising around here. So now here I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not pulling my stitches too tight because I don't want to make the fabric buckle again. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. All right, so I'm to a point here. All right, so to end, so we did like a little row here, but to end the row and then change direction, I'm gonna go kind of in the last stitch that I just made. So we're on the back. And in theory, I wanna come back up in that same hole, but if I do that, my stitches will come out. So if I go to the back and I just kind of run behind the second to last stitch, just kind of loop it in there. There, now my stitch is caught there, and then I can come back up in that same hole. I'm still in the back, but then you can see the stitches caught. So it's not going to come to the front, and I can still start that line fresh. So all right, we're gonna go around his little paw. So cute. Little Chad. It's funny, I don't know why. I mean, like I said, Chad is really a he's kind of a black and white tiger kitty, but he has just a little bit of this brown in him. Oh, I hope I get to see Chad this weekend. Little kitty. I've been wanting a kitty lately, but they're too much work and I don't want a kitty inside the house. I don't want hair and fuzz everywhere, but I wanted one to sit in my lap for the past couple days. Be nice. Maybe I just missed Chad. Man, I really have to gather this up with my fingers. Or with my hand back here. All right, I'm always trying to make the loop to the best I can on the direction of the curve. So like here, we're gonna be making this tight curve. So I'm gonna try and, instead of doing the loop underneath, like how I used to do it a lot, I'm going with the flow here. So I'm going it at the top. And when it switches directions here, I might flip and go downward. Because these stitches kind of, the direction that you come up, whether you come up below or on the underside or on the overside of your loop, kind of, it holds it in place, like the direction. Like right here, actually, maybe I'll come up the other side. Because we want that little tuck of the little kitty paw to go inward. So it might be better to have come up on that side. But now I'm going to come the other side again. I hope that makes kind of a little bit of sense. We got to get his little paw fingers in there too. Let's see, how should we go about doing that? I think I will... I think we'll go around this paw. And because this paw is just a really tight curve that I want to deal with first, and then I'll go back and do his little finger bits. Oh, Brenda, I'm happy you're here for the videos. Some of your comments getting blocked off, so I'll read it after. It's fun to do this embroidery again, though. It does feel like it's been a while. There, so as long as I keep my loop here on the outside, or like keeping the shape like on the outside, since I'm arcing this way, I'm gonna have it on the top. See how it's catching? This is a pretty hard curve when it's catching the curve a little bit, like because my thread is on this side of it, it's holding it in place along the curve, and I can get these really nice tight curves with the stem stitch here. Oh yeah, his little kitty scratchers, got to get those. So now, since I'm kind of more on a straightaway, now I'm just going to kind of come down. I'm going to take a break from the stem stitch there like that. And I'm going to go back and get his little paws. His little fingers, I'm just going to try and sneak them in underneath the stem stitches. Oh, so sweet. I got one more in there. Actually, I'm going to come up this way because I need to end up at that hole, so go under the stitch here. All right, now I need to go back as if I was stem stitching the whole way. So we needed to catch that stitch. I think I'll just come up on this side and we'll keep going up. Well, now I'm going to go underneath that stitch as if I made the loop above. But there, now we're kind of back in business here. Yeah, I usually use a hoop for this particular block. I'm trying to go with the instructions for the particular quilt block that we're working on. This is from the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along. I did not design this, and it has someone else's instructions, and I thought I'd go with their instructions. I don't actually usually use a stem stitch for outlining, even though I know it's probably the most common, you know, traditionally used stitch for outlining. But I have a hunch on why we are not using a hoop. So I think she might even say to not use a hoop in this block. And the reason is because of these running stitches. You know, we were going in and out and in and out and in and out, and we were able to gather all those stitches up on the needle before pulling it through. And we wouldn't be able to do that very easily with the hoop because the hoop would be keeping our surface taut. And it's the same way with a stem stitch. So with a stem stitch, it's easiest when you go down and up in the same motion versus stabbing it and then pulling all the way through and then coming up. This is actually called a sewing method, and she talks about this in the design as well. So the sewing method is when you go in and out in the same motion, which we did for all of the pieces here, including this. So I think this is an exercise, this block, in the sewing method of embroidery, and you know, which makes stem stitch the way to go, and it also and the running stitch, and also the idea of not using a hoop, because both of these particular stitches kind of work better without the hoop, because we are using that sewing method. So going down and up in the same motion, and it's much easier to see, like when the fabric is allowed to move. Oh, lost my thread. And we're almost out of thread here. Let's see, the whiskers look like they're a different color, so I'll leave the whiskers till the end. Yeah. Almost can't thread this. All right. Now since we have a tight curve going this way, now I'm going to have my thread go on the underside, the same direction as that loop. Oh, okay, so the E6000 to keep that super duper glue. You can get it from like at jewelry places, and I know I was just at Joann's. I know it's in the little like glue aisle. So now by going underneath, my thread is catching the stem stitch loop, so it stays in that same direction. And then we get these little pretty curves. Yeah, I think this is looking good. So to finish that row, you know, we come up to an end here, and my thread is on the outside, I'm just going to go kind of basically in that same hole, and that'll give us the double thickness that we're getting over the rest of this piece. All right, so there we are so far, and you guys, I think we might call it there versus stitching the rest of this. I don't want to get caught up too far and then have to stop. So I think I'm going to weave in the end here, and we will call it an evening. And I will wish all of you guys a happy Thanksgiving. I'm very excited for Mom's stuffing. Do you say stuffing or dressing? I think we always say stuffing. I don't think there's a difference. Okay, snip. Oh, we can snip this little loose end here too. There we go. We got a nice pretty back, no knots to catch anything on, and we're good. So here is the kitty. So see, this was a single piece of thread, a single strand, but because of the thread goes next to each other with each stitch, we're making the appearance of two pieces of thread next to each other, which makes the one strand look like the two-stranded stuff that's the rest of it. But that color is nice. That kitty is gonna super duper pop. I want to just see what now that we have a lot more on here, I want to see what it looks like with our little fabric bits again. I think we get a better sense of that, because this really pops. But I think already by putting the fabric back on, I think it's all kind of blending together again. But still, we're getting our little pale block look. Yeah, I think this brown is going to be just right. He's going to pop against this, and yeah, I like it. It's looking cute, 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 cute. All right, guys, I'm going to flip you around. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining me again. It is the best part of the day when I get to hang out with you guys here. And I'm so thankful to be able to hang out with you guys. It's just really the best. So I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving and safe travels if you're headed anywhere. And have a great, happy day if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving as well, for all you Australians and everything. So, all right, I will see you guys again on Monday. I'll be here again at 8:30 p.m. Central. So then you'll have to tell me how your day went, how the rest of your week went. I can't wait to hear. So I'll see you guys then. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great evening. Good night.